All right, folks, this is a 1993 Cadillac Fleetwood. And I'm giving you a close-up shot because this thing is pristine. I mean, pristine is an understatement. I mean, look at that body. Yeah, it's very good. It's a great looking car. And yes, it's up on jack stands and jacks. And it's overkill. There's a hydraulic jack on each corner on the frame, and then you see there's 3 6-ton jacks there. It's overkill, but I get it. You know, you work in a garage, the last thing you want is the vehicle to take a tumble. And it's in very good condition. 28 years old. Yeah, it's nice. So today we're gonna do a fuel filter. And there's the fuel filter. Now, of course, I've never done a fuel filter on this car, and I've only had it for a couple of weeks, but it always pays to change all the filters. And I figured, why not? So I'm giving it a try. Once again, another hydraulic jack, jack stands, hydraulic jack. Now, the fuel filter is located right in there, passenger side in front of the left axle. So let's go. All right, it's a 1/2-inch socket. I'm removing this out of the frame rail, that little nut, and I'll be back. All right, we get a little light on the subject. So what you see is this bracket. And on the underside of this bracket, I assume this is the brake cable. And you can see it fits into a little groove on the bracket. That's a good thing to remember. And what I did is, since the bracket was pretty tough, tight on it, I just shoved this screwdriver in and opened it up a little bit. Not master mechanic stuff, but now it slides easily off the filter, which of course is doing one-handed is always kind of a challenge, but trust me, it does. So we'll continue to slide it off. All right, there are these cute little tabs, which you can see here. There's one on each side. Sorry if the video is not very good. And they're located inside these little holes here. A little hard to tell on this one, light's not very good. And you press those little tabs out and you loosen the filter. Now, I've not taken it out all the way because I'm expecting some gas to come out. So I've got a drain pan ready to go, and we'll see what happens. I'm wearing glasses because obviously on a car that's 28 years old, there's lots of sand and gravel around, and there's potential for fuel, and you don't really want to get it in your face. All right, success. You can see I got the tabs in on either side. Some fuel did come out, not a lot, but this went in quickly. The nice thing about cars that aren't rusted is that things go easily. I've slid the bracket back on. For me, one of the pieces that's important is to make sure that you get this cable underneath that little tab there. I'll get a little closer. So you can see that little tab there. Put it out. Get this emergency brake line cable in there. Then we're gonna flip it around. We're gonna slide it in, and it looks pretty good. I'll back up a little bit. So you can see that the cable is being held by this tab right there. And now we'll get the bolt and we'll secure it. I'll be back. Now here's the bolt. I'm gonna hit it with a little PV blaster because obviously some rust does occur. And clean it up a little bit. This washer goes between the body and the bracket, and this goes on the bracket. So here's the screw bolt And there, right in there, is the washer, and it holds this bracket up against the frame. You can see that I've got my emergency brake line cable in the little groove, and nothing's leaking. I think we're having success. It's a 1/2-inch bolt, a socket here. And get that on, and we'll hand tighten it. I always tend to do that because I'm a neophyte, and the last thing I want to do is cross thread something. Trying to fix something that's cross threaded, it gets to be a pain in the rear. I slipped the cable down so it's nice and ensconced, cosseted, held by in this little space here. So, and it's nice and free, it's not chafing, which is good. So I'm gonna tighten this up. Life is good. Bye. So it looks pretty good. I got it in there. You can see that the emergency brake line cable is resting in its groove. It's not pinched, which is good. The filter is facing the right direction, assuming the old one was in the right direction. A lot of people ask, so why are you changing the filter on a 1993 Cadillac Fleetwood if the car's running fine and has less than 40,000 miles? Well, I think it's kind of obvious, but the car is 28 years old. I think it is, yeah, if you do the math. So I can't imagine that the old filter, which looked original, is really up to the job. The car is going to be driven. Just take a quick look around. It's a nice specimen. There's a little bit of rust, but not a lot. And yesterday I did the brake fluid. Brake fluid is normally amber, nearly clear. And the brake fluid on this car was chocolate milk. So I just assume on a used car, an old car, change every fluid, change every filter. Just do it. That includes tranny, diff, you name it, just change it. You'll be money ahead. You won't be unhappy. It'll cost you some money. I get that. Cars are expensive, but it's a whole lot more money to have a bad filter clog up the line, you lose power, you have to get a tow somewhere, and someone says, oh, your fuel pressure is fine at the pump, it's the filter that's clogged. But since the filter was clogged, it overloaded the fuel pump, and now it's burned out, and we need to drop the tank to put a new fuel pump in. And pretty soon, the $15 or $20 that it costs for a new filter and the 30 minutes it costs to replace the filter seems like the world's best investment, especially if you look at the price of towing a vehicle to a shop, assuming the shop, one, is available, and two, knows what they're doing. I assume all shops know what they're doing. So that's why I change all the filters and fluids that I can. I will take the car to a friend who will do the transmission, and I will watch and learn. So that's a 1993 fuel filter. No, it's a 1993 Cadillac Fleetwood with a new fuel filter. Take care. Bye.